All right, let's air this thing out a little bit with the air on. Here we go. Hi everybody, Jim from County Corvette. I have here today a really great 64 Corvette convertible. Ermine white, dark blue interior, original numbers matching 300 horse engine that's been rebuilt to 350 spec. 4-speed, 336 rear, and this car was restored by Real Cars Inc. in Deer Park, New York. I don't believe they're around anymore, but I remember them back in the day. They were actually a competitor back in the day. Been doing this for that long and then some, and they were a good outfit run by good guys. This was a nice clean car. I have all the photography of the entire restoration down to original bare fiberglass when it was stripped, and the car was done right. It was a full complete body off restoration done in 1990, and as I stand here, this car looks like a relatively fresh restoration. The body and paint is as good as it probably was when it was done. When you do them right like this, and this is what I tell my customers, spend the money and do it right, because they last the test of time. Now, in addition to having a really proper restoration, this car was really well maintained over the years. I sold this car, I believe it was back during COVID, and I just got it back, but in the meantime, over the past 3 years now, we added air conditioning, a Flaming River tilt steering column, power steering, and power brakes with a 67 style master cylinder with the dual reservoir. If you know anything about them, the original master cylinder 3s and 4s was a single reservoir, and if you had a leak in the back, it took out the front brakes and the back brakes. So this is a very prudent upgrade for something you're going to drive. And this car drives like a 65, 6, or 7 now with those upgrades. And the Flaming River column that tilts up, it's actually quite nice. So this thing has some tasteful upgrades. It doesn't really harm the value of the car, but makes it a considerably better driver. And it's just a sweetheart of a car. And what I can tell you is, it costs the same amount of money to restore any mid-year, whether it's a 63 split window or a 67 L88. Now an L88 with rare parts and a 63 Fuelie, you start shopping for fuel injection parts or really rare obscure J56. Yeah, it's going to be more money, and that could add 50+ thousand. You get into original interior stuff and original parts, tires, bolt-on wheels, knockoff wheels. Yeah, it can add 100 to a restoration, but regardless, you're going to do the body the same way, and this was done that way. This is the way we do these cars, and refinish on this thing, strip and repaint the body, and do a restoration like this. You're a minimum of any competent shop out there, $125,000 to $150,000 parts and labor on a good car with all the big parts there. So, like I said, it's an original engine, not a restamp, numbers matching original, and it's just a really hard car to duplicate. People say, well, it's a 64, it's kind of an in-between car. It is. And as a result of it not being a 67, you're gonna save $50,000, because if this were a 67 in a good color, you're talking 130 to 170. For like a 350 horse. That's what they're bringing now, like a black. I have a black 350 horse that we just restored, and that car is going to be 150 to 170, maybe more. That car is going to hit the auction. Black cars bring a premium, obviously black 67, and with authenticity. But here's a car, well under 100. You can buy turnkey, doesn't need anything. It's got an upgraded ignition in it, so there's no points. Everything that it was kind of a weak link on these, even the carburetor, it's got a modernized Street Warrior 600 CFM. So it's a new carburetor with that won't have old carburetor problems. It's not shrunk and warped and that type of thing. So turnkey car, so much bang for the buck with ice cold modern air. It's just a great car. Really, I would encourage you to take a look at it. If you're shopping for a mid-year driver, please take a look at this car. It's such a good one. All right, we're going to take it out and run it as we do with all the cars. and take you for a virtual test drive. Let's do this. So this thing fires up beautifully. It's got the, like I said, the modern carburetor with the electric choke, and this thing runs flawlessly. When this engine was rebuilt, it was properly done, dyno tested, just really the right way to do a car. You know, and unfortunately, because of the values on these cars, historically you wouldn't see a car like this restored to this level. And it is a two-top car, beautifully restored hardtop. Everybody knows what that costs. You know, you're $5,000–6,000 to restore a top. A lot of value. Everything in the interior is, you know, really nice. These look like original dash pads to me, but there are replacement seat covers, door panels, carpets. The gauge cluster was restored, and it was done a while ago, but it looks to me like the digits in there, the odometer itself, were replaced but restored back to its original mileage. And that's what a lot of companies were doing back then. I can tell by the font it's slightly different, and that's okay. But it wasn't set to 0, because I know this thing doesn't have 60,760 miles. So the trip meter's working, I can see it moving. I'm gonna put the window up and put the air on here. Oops, that's not the right one. So for heat, you just go all the way to the right, and for the fan, you go all to the right. Yeah, it's nice and cold. Okay, so to operate the AC, there's a switch down here, and that's, move that to get cooler, you move it all the way to the right. So the temperature control's here. And that is already starting to blow me out. Ice cold. Too cold. Yeah, it feels really nice. All the gauges work flawlessly in here. It's just really a great car. I believe there's a idle solenoid that energizes and when the AC comes on and lifts the idle up a little bit, like some of the later air conditioned cars. But these retrofit air conditioners, it's really the right way to air condition a car, as opposed to trying to find original parts to make it look like it was done back in '64. You could do it. I actually have done it, but you got to sit back and say, you know, why? This way, you've got a modern system that's redesigned, really works well. You know, it's just like an air conditioning system at home. You're not going to put 60-year-old technology in your house. You're going to buy the latest Train or whatever brand you like. Much more efficient, and they just really work well. So So that's how this works. You have your variable rheostat on here, and that works really nice. And it's, I'm telling you, it's ice cold. And it's not a super hot day here today, but it's hot enough. And it really makes it a nice driving car. You've got the tilt, or the tilt wheel here that, boy, it really helps you get in and out of the car, and looks stock. With the exception of the additional stalk here and the four-way flasher button, it looks stock. Really well done. Yeah, there's not a lot of really well restored small block mid-years out there, the 64 type cars, because the values have always been a little less. And for most people, they just say, well, I'm not going to sink that money into it. It's not going to be worth it in the long haul. And that's not a wrong approach, but whoever owned this car back in 89, 90, I can tell you it was a no expense spared restoration, as if it were a 435 or something. So really cool to see. It has an older reproduction windshield in it. I can tell by the font of the marking on there. You can tell from here. It's not. It's a reproduction. It's an early reproduction. It's how they were doing them back in the day, and that was good enough back in the day. Even the NCRS, was okay with it, and then things got tighter over the years. But it's a nice quality windshield. There's no weird visibility glitches in it, like a lot of them that I've seen over the years. It looks like the other glass is original glass. I didn't check the dates on it. But that both sides are, that's a JC, IC. You can't see this one here because of the sun, but it looks good, These are leather seat covers, and I don't believe it was a leather car, but they're nice. They look great, feel good. Seat belts work well. All right, let's air this thing out a little bit with the air on. Here we go. All right, I don't think anybody's done that in a long time on this car. We puffed out some black smoke, but it runs good. I mean, that was 6,000 RPM, and I like it. I like it. And this thing goes down the road laser straight now. Really feels nice. So this thing runs out good. And don't be worried by the black smoke. Nobody drives these cars like I do, and we just burn out some carbon in the exhaust. But really runs good. Nice running car. That's about as much fun as a barrel of monkeys. It's always interesting to take a car out and redline it, and I actually didn't redline it. I ran it up to 6,000 just because I felt like my speed was getting up there, because it has a 342 rear, and we were moving right along. I always keep it safe, but temperature's good. All the gauges are perfect. Oil pressure's really good. Ammeter's showing 20 amps, 15 amps. Fuel gauge is working. I can see it moving a little bit. We did our operations check. All the headlights work, wipers, everything works as it should. It's a great car, folks. Just, it's something you can buy sight unseen. And I'm really happy to put my name on it. Happy to put the County Corvette name on this one. And these are the types of cars we inventory. I'd be happy to call this car my own car. Transmission's nice, and all the synchros and sliders are good in it. Just a sweetheart. All right, I'm getting too cold in here, so I'm gonna turn the air off and put this thing away. But yeah, take a good look at it, and don't hesitate to call us. This is a really good car. Thanks for watching my video, and we'll talk to you soon.